And welcome to our Ohm's Law Lab. Well, if you were not in class and you were unable to take the data, watch close on this video and it will help you be able to take the data for yourself. While I would have rather had you go through the experience of putting the circuit together and getting the current and voltage data yourself, this substitute video will suffice. So let's take a look at the circuit that's been built. If we look on the board here, we see we have what is called a power supply. This is a low voltage power supply that ranges anywhere from 1 to 12 volts. Over here, you can see if we follow the red cord, it goes into the positive side of an ammeter. Ammeters measure current. Following out of the negative side of the ammeter, where we have it going through an open switch, so right now there's no current in the circuit, and to the positive end of the resistor. Positive because it is connected to the positive end of the battery. The red knob is positive. On the other side of the resistor, the black wire that is connected to the negative end of the power supply. So we make one single loop of current to follow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be turning up the voltage to 1 volt, 2 volts, 3 volts, 4 volts, and 5 volts. So you can go ahead and mark that on your data table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 volts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the camera displayed on the ammeter for you to learn how to take data. Now, just to kind of zoom in and look at it close, you'll notice that every 5 notches is 0.1 amps. That means every single little mark is 0.02 amps. While I will tell you that the voltage has been turned up to another value, I will not tell you what the current is. It is up to you to read the ammeter and record your own data. Let's begin. Starting with the first trial, okay, we have a red resistor in there, and we are going to turn on the current. Okay, now I have to dial, the voltage right now is almost 7 volts, so I got to dial it down to 1 volt. Okay, and right now we're at about 1 volt. Go ahead and read off your current. Okay, now I'm going to dial it up to 2 volts. It is now at 2 volts. Read off your current. Now I'm going to dial it up to 3 volts. The current is now at 3 volts. Voltage, excuse me. The voltmeter is now at 3 volts. Read off the current. The voltmeter is now up to 4 volts. Read off the current. And last trial for the red resistor, we are now up to 5 volts. Go ahead and read off the current. I'm going to adjust the first one to 1 volt real quick, just to take a look. Okay, there we go. So again, going back to 1 volt. There we are. We have now substituted the green resistor for the red resistor. You can see the green one is now put in its place. Okay, let's begin. Right now there is no voltage set up because the switch is in the open position, meaning no current. Read off the ammeter when I tell you the voltage has been set to a certain amount. Okay, we are in the second data box where it says green resistor. Okay, the voltage is, let's adjust that. The voltage is now at 1 volt. Please record the current. Now we're going to adjust the voltage to 2 volts. It is now at 2 volts. Read off the current. We're now going to adjust it to 3 volts. It is now at 3 volts. Read off your current. We are now going to adjust the voltage to 4 volts. It is now at 4 volts. Read off the current. And finally, we're going to adjust the voltage to 5 volts. The voltage is now at 5 volts. Please read off the final current. We will now change to the final blue resistor. We have now substituted the blue resistor. Let us finish our data for the Ohm's Law lab. We are on the bottom data table for blue resistor. Again, we are starting at 1 volt. Let's begin. Okay, we have now dialed up the voltmeter to 1 volt. Please read off your current. Okay, we will now adjust it to 2 volts. The voltage is now at 2 volts. Please read off the current. We will now adjust to 3 volts. It is now to 3 volts. Please read off your current. We will now adjust to 4 volts. The voltmeter is now at 4 volts. Please read off your current. Last and final trial, we will now adjust to 5 volts. The voltmeter is now set to 5 volts. Please read off your current. That concludes the data portion of our Ohm's Law lab. If we take a moment to look at the back side of the page, we will see that we are plotting voltage versus current for all 3 resistors. The red resistor data goes on the top graph, green resistor data goes in the middle graph, blue resistor data goes on the bottom graph. You will get linear data for each of these because you should have noticed as the voltage increased steadily, so did the current. You will get linearly increasing data. You will need a ruler, draw a best fit line through your data. The slope of the best fit line, as you have written here, is the value of the resistance. So the resistance will be the slope. Find the slope. That'll be the number of ohms of resistance for the red resistor. Similarly, the slope of the best fit line for this graph will be the resistance of the green resistor. And lastly, the slope of the best fit line for the bottom graph will be the resistance of the blue resistor. Okay, I hope that helps. Please do your best to finish, complete, and submit our Ohm's Law Lab. Thank you.